everyone, my name is Jen Antunes and welcome to my channel where I come on here to share with you my passion for all things beauty. So today I'm going to be creating a full face look, and while doing so I am going to be sharing with you different tips and techniques that I believe would be helpful for those of you who are over 30 and just getting into makeup. I'm going to go over each step and really focus on how I do it, as well as recommendations on some products that will help make your makeup routine easier. Now, without further ado, let's get into today's video. So the first thing I wanted to go over with you is mirrors. You're going to want to have two mirrors. One mirror that you'll be able to see basically the full picture, and a smaller mirror, either a handheld mirror or a mirror in one of your palettes. And that way you can really get up close and personal and see how your makeup is looking. And now let's move on to our next tip, which is skincare. Yes, skincare. We're not even getting to the makeup yet. Believe it or not, but by applying skincare products, especially ones that are going to help keep your skin hydrated, it's actually going to help make your makeup application easier, and it's also going to help the longevity of your makeup. So the first thing I like to do is I like to apply which is basically like a nutritious water. And today I'm going to be using the Gold Faden MD Mist RX. Now, before we continue, I do want to let you know that all the products that I'm going to be using today for my makeup routine are going to be in the description box down below for you. This is basically going to get my skin wet, which is good because your skincare actually applies better onto wet skin. The next thing I like to do is I like to hydrate underneath my eyes. I have very fine lines and wrinkles, and it gets very dry, and that's where creasing and patchiness can occur with your makeup. So to help with that, I moisturize my eye before my makeup. So I am going to be using the Tula Skincare Glow and Get It Brightening Balm. I love this because it is going to hydrate underneath my eyes, as well as brighten it with my dark under eye circles, and it's in a balm, so it makes it easy to apply. Now the next step I do before getting into the makeup, which is the last step before we start using makeup, is moisturize my skin. Today what I'm actually going to be using is I'm going to be using the VDL Lumi Layer Cream. This is just going to help even out my skin, make sure that my skin is all ready to go for makeup. Now, just so you know, if you have just applied your skincare routine like 20 minutes prior to applying your makeup, you don't necessarily have to do this step. For me, I typically end up doing my makeup a couple hours after doing my morning routine. If you are like literally doing your skincare routine as soon as you wake up and then like 20 minutes later doing your makeup, you don't have to do this extra step. Now the next step is primer. So when it comes to primer, this actually depends on what your skin type is and what any concerns that you may have, such as if you have enlarged pores, if you have uneven skin tone, if your skin is really dull, you have oily skin, whatever it may be, that is where a primer can actually come and help. Today, I'm actually going to use two primers because of the way my skin is. So the first primer I'm going to use is the Maybelline Master Primer. This is a hydrating and smoothing primer. My skin is really dry today, so that is why I am using this primer. Most of the time, I tend to do primers that focus more on my pores, which is what I will be using next. It's the Touch in Sol No Problem Primer. Oh my god, I love this. This totally helps blur out your pores. So I'm just going to apply this one just on my nose and cheek area right here, because that is where my pores are huge. Next is eyeshadow primer. Now, if you're someone that is not going to wear eyeshadow, then you can skip this. But if you are someone that is going to be wearing eyeshadow, you gotta have eyeshadow primer. This is what's going to help make your eyeshadow pop. It's going to make sure that it lasts longer. And if you choose the right eyeshadow primer, it's actually going to help make your eyeshadow application easier. Today I am going to be using the Urban Decay Anti-Aging, and it comes with an applicator, so you can just pop it on. And what I do is I just spread it all over where I'm planning on applying eyeshadow. Then either with my finger, or lately I've actually been using one of these small sponges, making sure it's all even and pressing it into my skin. Now onto brows. So I'm going to show you an easy brow routine. Now this is where it is going to be very helpful to have your two mirrors where you can see far away and up close. Now if you're someone who actually has nice full brows, what you can actually do is just use a tinted eyebrow gel and just kind of use this to help ensure that your eyebrows stay where you want them. And if you get a tinted one, it will actually help with filling in the sparse areas with just using one product. Now for me, I have a little bit of more growing left to do after chemo. So I am going to be using a pencil. And today I'm going to be using the Precisely My Brow Pencil. And the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to brush your hairs up. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my small mirror and I'm just going to fill in the sparse areas. And what you want to do is you just want to do small little strokes and kind of having it go the way that your hair naturally goes. All right, just going to brush them all in. Now, to make sure that they are going to stay put and none of the product is going to wipe away, I'm going to use a clear brow gel. And today I'm going to be using the Maybelline Brow Fast Sculpt. And just going to brush it through my whole brow so that way I can make sure that it is going to stay in this shape that I have it in. Now I'm going to do eyeshadow. I personally like to do my eyeshadow before I do my face. That way, if there's any fallout or if I make a mistake, it is a lot easier to clean up or to wipe away and start over when it's just my eye makeup. Now, as a beginner, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to focus on 3 shades for your lid. You're going to want a medium shade for your transition, a light shade that you could apply onto your lid, and then a darker shade if you want you can to deepen up the outer corner. Now you do not need to use all 3, you can just use one. And another thing when it comes to eyeshadow is I recommend getting smaller palettes. The reason why I recommend getting a smaller palette is it's going to help make it easier for you to know what shades to use where, and you're not going to feel overwhelmed by all these options. Today I'm actually going to be using my Natasha Denona Peak palette. What I have actually been doing lately and what I have found to be a lot easier is by doing my lid and then moving up towards my crease and brow area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a flat eyeshadow brush. This is the Farrah 205 Fly Wings. I'm just going to slide it into the shimmer of the palette. I'm going to start in the inner corner and then work my way outward. And I'm just going to tap it onto my lid. Now as you can see, what I'm doing is I have my mirror right here and I'm looking down, so that way my eyes, both of my eyes are still going to be open, but I still have all access to my lid. Now the next thing I will do is I will go in and apply my transition color. And what you're going to want with that is you're going to want a fluffy blending brush. Today I'm using the JH32 brush. So you can see it kind of tapers in the top. And it's just a big fluffy brush. So I want to make sure that for my transition, I'm using like a medium size blending brush. So I'm going to tap into the shade that was right next to the shimmer, and I'm going to tap so that way it's on the tip. So since I have hooded eyes, I bring my transition shade up right here, basically where my brow bone is, and in the corner. So right here. Sure if you can see, that's where I start, and then I just lightly go like this, and then once I get towards where it's starting to turn, I will lift my head up so that way I can see my whole eyelid area, and then I will just bring it. As you can see, I'm taking my time, making sure it's going where I want it. And then once it's basically all covered, that's when I will start going with the windshield wiper movement that you so infamously see, and just kind of bringing it back and forth, back and forth. This really is not so much technique as in patience and time. And what I like to do when most of the shadow is gone and where I've gotten most of it blended is I will actually bring it out like this. So that way it kind of fades into a lifted look. Alright, so I'm going to do it to the other side. I will be right back. Now, the one thing I forgot to mention when I was showing you on this side, and I thought of it while I was doing it this side, is where you hold your brush. So when you are blending and you want to lighten the pigment, you want to hold your brush down here and you want to hold it lightly. So where it's kind of like wiggly, and you just kind of just guide your brush where you want it. When you are looking to add more pigment and really precise area of where you want to apply it, that's when you come in closer and you hold tighter. Just want to make sure I let you guys know that. So I will be right back with this eye done. Now for me, since I have hooded eyes, my crease ends up disappearing. So I do like to have at least a little bit of a deeper color to kind of give myself a little bit of a crease. So when it comes to my crease, the brush I like to use is kind of like a flat but fluffy brush. This is the Ulta Beauty Small Shadow 42 brush. So what I'm going to do to deepen up my crease is I'm actually going to use the next shade over, which is this dark brown. I'm just going to just tap it. And when it comes to my crease, what I like to do is I like to look down and apply it like right here. I'm not going all the way to the corner of my eye. To start off the look, just kind of like how we did the transition, I'm going to do the corner like right here. And like my bone, I can feel my bone right here. That's where I'm going to start applying my crease color. And what I do first is I just tap it on where I want to apply my crease color. And then once I have it tapped on where I want it, that's when I will come down and then I will start blending it. And when I'm blending it, I'm not blending it down. I'm blending it like kind of straight, kind of like that way I can get more of a lifted look. The reason why I do it like this is because, like I said, I do have hooded eyes, so my eyes tend to droop over here.
Hi,
Editing Jen here. So I just want to explain the difference between hooded and downturn because I screwed this all up. So hooded, as you can see right here, this little flap, that makes my eyes hooded. And downturn is because right here it goes down. So that's the difference, okay? I'm just going to add a little bit more because it's not as dark as I would like it. But this is more of preference on how dark you want the shadows to be. And what I like to do when I'm blending my shadows is I constantly keep doing this to make sure that I am blending it out evenly everywhere. Now, when it comes to eyeliner, this is when you're going to need to have a mirror up close. And for my upper lash line, I like to use a liquid eyeliner pen. I like to use the ColourPop BFF liquid liners. They are super pigmented. They dry down real quick. And the tip makes it really easy to apply, especially if you want to do a really tight line of near your lash line. So you want to make sure that you are looking straight at the mirror. Then you tilt your head so that way you can see all the lash line. I'm going up above my lash line. And just so you know, I have both my eyes open so I can see what I'm doing. At first I will do little dashes along my lash line. And because my eyes turn down, I don't typically go all the way down because then it kind of makes my eyes droop. So I will normally stop about right here. And then I'll just kind of go through it make sure everything is connected. Now for the lower lash line, I'm actually going to recommend using a neutral. This is going to help make your eyes pop and look more wide awake. This time what I'm going to do is I'm going to look up like this. Mirror's right here, looking up. And then I'm just going to put this right on my lower lash line. You see the difference? This eye looks more wide awake and then this eye's kind of like blah. Now onto mascara, my #1 product that I have to have on every day. Now if you're someone that actually struggles with not having much lashes at all or having your lashes not be able to hold a curl, that is where you're going to want to use a lash curler. You don't need to get no fancy lash curler, just any lash curler will do. You're just going to put your lashes right in and then you're just going to keep pumping. This is going to help give your mascara something to work off of. I typically don't need to use a lash curler because my lashes actually hold a curl pretty well, and for the most part I can see my lashes are long enough. And when you are ready to apply your mascara, you want to make sure you get all the excess off because this is going to help ensure that you don't get any clumping. So when you do your upper lashes, you're going to want to look down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to brush up and then in. Up and then in. So that way I can move my lashes towards my nose. This is going to help basically get your lashes at attention. And help make your lashes look more awake and longer and volumized. Okay, and now when you want to do your lower lashes, you want to do the opposite. You want to go down, and you're going to go like that. You're going to brush, 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 brush. Alright, so now that we are done with the eyes, let's move on to the face. And we are going to start off with foundation. I personally think for a beginner that a stick foundation is going to be the easiest to work with. So what is great about stick foundations is you can literally just apply it all over your face. We're just going to blend, and as you can see, I am blending it down into my neck, up into my ears. I even blend it up into my hairline to make sure that it is going to look like I have all the same skin tone. All blended and looking flawless. Now, as you saw when I applied the foundation, I did not go anywhere near my eyes. By not going near my eyes, it's actually going to give me a little wiggle room to blend in this area. And also, when I apply my concealer, it is not going to be like another layer of product underneath my eyes. Now, there are two things that you can do with a concealer. You can conceal, which is cover up any blemishes that you may have, or you can brighten / highlight. Now, depending on what you want your concealer to do, that is going to help you determine what shade of concealer to get. Now, obviously, if you are looking to conceal like any imperfections that you may have around your face, you're going to want to make sure you choose a concealer that is the same shade as your skin, or at least the very least your foundation. Just dabbing a little bit there. And then I'm just going to take my beauty sponge and I'm just going to tap it in. Now, when it comes to brightening, what you want to do is you want to get a concealer that is a shade lighter than your skin. Now, if you're one of those lucky ones that just needs to brighten, I highly recommend checking out the e.l.f. Brightening Concealer. I really recommend this if you're someone that does not need to have coverage. I'm actually going to personally use this to highlight my face. So I'm just going to highlight my nose area. And then right here. And right here. 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 And here. And I actually like to add some right here and here. Just going to take my beauty sponge again. You can also use a concealer brush. It's up to you. For my under eyes, because I do have dark under eye circles, I do have to have a concealer that covers. And I do like to brighten it. So I get a concealer that has good coverage and that is going to brighten. And what I do is I just apply a dot in the inner corner. And then I do a little whoop right there. Tapping the concealer into my skin. You also can use your finger if you want. And I'm bringing it down a little right here. And then tapping and bringing it up towards my temple. And then tapping. Everything is tapping. And I'm not tapping hard. I'm just tapping fast. And see, as you can see, by doing that little concealer flick right here, it cleaned up the eyeshadow right here. And it kind of makes my eyes look more lifted. Can you see the difference? This isn't blended out. And you can see that my eyes are more lifted here. And this is, I have it here, it's just not blended out. And you see the difference? So this is going to help lift your eyes. I know, as we get older, our skin starts sagging. Starts doing things that we don't want it to do. Now on to setting powder. And this is another thing that is honestly, if you don't need it, then don't do it. And if you do need it, only apply it to the places that you need it. The whole point of a setting powder is to set your makeup. So this is going to be places where your makeup tends to break apart, it tends to crease. Lightly tap it into the translucent powder, tap off the excess, and then I will literally just lightly tap underneath my eyes. Then the rest of my face, I will just tap it, just kind of my T-zone, because it is starting to get warmer. So just going to make sure that my T-zone does not get super oily. Now on to the rest of your face makeup. And I actually recommend, when it comes to using a blush, a bronzer, and a highlighter, to actually get a face palette. These are going to make your life so much easier. So when it comes to bronzer, you're going to want to take a big fluffy brush, turn your face to the mirror, and you're going to want to start right here. I actually kind of start in my hairline a little bit, and what I do is I will tap it and bring it to about here. Apples of my cheeks are right here, but I'm bringing it to right here. See? I'm not bringing it all the way to my apples of my cheek. I kind of like stop like right where my eye is. Like right here is where I'm going to stop. And I start right at the top of my ear, and just kind of bring it down and tap it just a few times, and then I blend. When it comes to bronzing your forehead, this is an option depending on what you want your forehead to look like and what your forehead actually does look like. Typically what happens is if someone who has a big forehead, they will want to bronze here, here, and if it's really big, they will connect it right here. If it's on the smaller end of a forehead, then you can just do like right here and right here. For me, I have a big center area here, and then like, so I kind of bring it, I do this, I do both sides, and then I will connect it at the end up here. And I basically like have half the brush in my hair and then half on my forehead. Where my hairline is, some of it kind of like my skin shows. Now when it comes to your chin or your jawline, what I do is I start right here where my ear is, kind of like in the behind my ear, and then just follow your jawline. And you just keep bringing it back and forth, back and forth. Now, another tip that I forgot to mention to you with the mirror, it was a last minute tip that I came up with. I have a list on my phone, and I've been going through them. But this tip I actually thought of as I was getting set up for today's video, and I forgot to put it in my list. But anyways, the tip is make sure that when you are doing your makeup to put your hair back. You can either use clips to hold your hair back. I personally love to use these like bandanas to hold my hair back. You could throw your hair up in a ponytail while you're doing your makeup, whatever you want to do. But having your hair out of your face is actually going to help get you to see all your edging and making sure that you are blending up into your hairline. So that way it's not like a, remember like in high school when people didn't blend, when we didn't blend down to our necks and it would be just like this line right here? Well, you don't want that line right here either. That is what putting your hair back is going to help do. So when you're applying your face products, the bronzer, blush, and highlighter, you're going to do your bronzer, your blush, and then highlight. So bronzer, blush, highlighter. And with the blush, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to start right where my eye is right here, and then where my cheekbone is right here. So start right here and here. And I'm just going to swipe it up. Now, for highlighter, I like to use just a small little loose blending brush type thing. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to use the high point. So right here, starting right where my eye is, and just kind of flicking up. And then I typically will do down the bridge of my nose, cupid bow, and chin. You also can add some underneath your eyebrows. You can grab a little brush like this, which is my e.l.f. eye crease brush, and you can put it on the inner corner of your eye. Now onto our lips. I don't have one, and I forgot to pick one up when I was out earlier today. But the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you apply a lip balm to your lips before you start doing your makeup. This is going to help make sure that your lips are hydrated and prepped and primed, just like we did with the rest of our face. Now, when it comes to choosing lip color as a beginner, I think neutral is the safest way to go. But it's up to you on how you want to do it. Today I'm going to use the Real Her I Am Confident lip liner. I'm just going to kind of not overline my lips, but a little bit over, just because I need to try and get them to be even. So I'm not going to be able to talk while I'm doing my lips, so I will be right back. Now, when it comes to lip color, this is going to be depending on what your preferences are. You can use lipstick, you can use liquid lipstick. I personally, especially now that we have to wear masks all the time, I love to wear liquid lipsticks because these tend to last longer, especially the ColourPop Ultra Blotted Lip. I swear, once this dries down, like, it is not going anywhere. However, today I am not wearing a mask, so I am going to apply a regular lipstick. Now, lip glosses, there's really not much, I guess, tips I could think of when it comes to lip gloss. So I'm just going to apply my Milani in Prismatic Peach, just the center of my lip, just to kind of give myself a little shimmer. Last but not least, setting spray. Now this is just like with primer. It is going to depend on your skin type and what you want your setting spray basically to do. So if you're someone that has oily skin, you may want to look for a mattifying setting spray because this is going to help mattify your skin. If you're someone that has dry skin, you are probably going to want to look for a hydrating setting spray. Now, if you're looking for something that is just going to help make your makeup last longer, the Urban Decay, of course, All Nighter Spray is a great option. The Milani Make It Last is a great option. The Catrice HD Activewear, I believe that's what it's called, is a great option. In regards to hydrating setting sprays, I really love the Wet n Wild 3-in-1 primer. It could actually be used as a primer, as a setting spray, and throughout the day you can use it to keep your skin hydrated. I also love the VDL and Belief setting spray. That's a hydrating setting spray. For mattifying, I only have one that's mattifying, and it's the Maybelline Lasting Fix. Another one I like to use in the summertime when I'm oily is the CoverGirl Outlast Active Spray. Today I am going to use my Wet n Wild Hydrating Spray because my skin is super dry. So we're just going to... I believe that is all we got today for tips. Now it's your turn. What beginner tips do you have to share? Was there a tip that I shared that you are really interested in trying out? Let us know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video, you can let me know by clicking that like button. And if you have not done so already, I welcome you to join us here on my channel by clicking that subscribe button and notification bell. That way you're notified each time I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Until next time, remember, be kind to yourself and to others. Bye.